Welcome to sixth grade language. This is for lesson 151, and we're on pages 234 and 235. This should be Tuesday, so hopefully it is for you. And we're going to be looking at distinguishing between adverb and adjective phrases, okay? And you do have a quiz tomorrow that is on adverb phrases, so pay attention today. Try to, in your Think A and Think B, make sure you're getting your prepositional phrases and that you're putting them to the right word that they describe, and that today's lesson should help with that. So an adjective phrase usually comes right after the noun or pronoun that it modifies. An adverb phrase, which modifies an adjective or adverb, usually comes right after the word it modifies. An adverb phrase, which modifies the verb, describes, remember modifies mean describes, the verb can come anywhere in the sentence, but should make sense when reading after the verb, okay? A prepositional phrase at the beginning of a sentence is usually an adverb phrase modifying the verb, okay? Adjective and adverb phrases give the same information about the words they modify as do regular adjectives and adverbs, okay? Olivia placed her books on the shelf. Placed where? On the shelf. It modifies place, since that is the word the phrase answers a question about. If you have difficulty on deciding which word a phrase modifies, try the phrase after several words to see which one it most sensibly modifies. Olivia on the shelf, placed on the shelf, books on the shelf. Placed on the shelf makes the most sense. And so it's with the meaning of the sentence. When you have two or more phrases in a row, a following phrase may modify the noun or pronoun object before it. So in that phrase, okay? In a stable in Bethlehem, Christ was born. In a stable comes at the beginning of the sentence and modifies the verb was born. In Bethlehem is an adjective phrase modifying stable and answers the question, which one? Okay? If a following phrase does not answer a question about the object of the preposition before it, try the other test to find the word it modifies. Sarah stayed in bed during her illness. Does during her illness answer a question about bed? No. Then does it modify? Then it does not modify bed. Stayed when? During her illness. We could have reworded the sentence, during her illness, Sarah stayed in bed. Therefore, the phrase during her illness is an adverb modifying the verb. Okay, so both of those phrases in that last sentence modify the verb, okay? We're gonna try this test on this sentence, and Morgan and Ryan probably remember this from when I did it with Cameron. You usually remember the ones that your name is in. And so Ryan hits the ball to the center fielder. Now, I just do want to put this out there. Morgan and Ryan do remember this, but this is in the curriculum. I didn't come up with the sentence. So I'm not playing favorites. I do love you all, and I miss you all, and I really enjoyed talking with you guys on that Zoom call. But this is this is what we have to do right now. So, but anyway, so there's our sentence. And here, so this is the sentence. Ryan hit the ball to the center fielder. And then these three, A, B, and C, are using this method, putting the prepositional phrase after one of the other words in the sentence, okay? So it's giving you the prepositional phrase, but I'll mark it off. To the center fielder is our prepositional phrase, okay? So we want to know what word to the center fielder modifies or describes, what makes the most sense in this sentence. Ryan to the center fielder. Did Ryan run, jog, be hit to the center fielder? No. Okay, hit to the center fielder. Possibly. Ball to the center fielder. Okay, so which one sounds better to the ball that makes most sense? It was hit to the center fielder or ball to the center fielder? Hit, okay? So B would be correct. So to the center fielder goes back and modifies it, okay? So on the quiz tomorrow, with the adverb phrases, that's how I want you to do it. And it gives you that in the instructions, but just so you can see it, you put parentheses around your prepositional phrase, and then you draw an arrow back to the word or the words that it modifies. So if there's a verb phrase, you would draw it to each of the verbs because they're all part of that phrase. All right, so let's look at number 1 on Think A. It says underline all the prepositional phrases in the following sentences. So underline, find them all, okay? Write ADJ above the the adjective phrases and ADV above the adverb phrases. There are 11 adjective phrases and 9 adverb phrases. So it gives you the number. There's 11 adjective phrases and 9 adverb phrases. There's lots of phrases in this. So in the first one, we'll do the first sentence, okay? In the morning, I strolled through the park, okay? So first of all, let's find our phrases. So what is a preposition? In is a preposition. So in the morning is a prepositional phrase, so underline that one. And so we can use our way of checking it. We can say I in the morning or strolled in the morning. Which one sounds better? Strolled in the morning. So is this one an adjective or an adverb phrase? It's describing strolled, which is your verb. So I strolled is your subject verb. We should have done that first, I'm sorry. So finding subject and verb first is also, and for this, if you don't want to get it mixed up with your adjective phrases and adverb phrases that you're underlining, you could just write S and V over them at the top so you know where your subject and verb is, okay? So in the morning is an adverb phrase because it describes the verb, right? All right, and then through the park is your other adjective, or your other prepositional phrase, sorry. And let's use the same method. I through the park or strolled through the park? Or morning through the park, because it could go back to morning. It would be strolled through the park. So it is another adverb phrase, okay? So both of the ones in number 1 are adverb phrases. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna let you do the rest of those on your own, and then think B. There are 2 prepositional phrases in each sentence below. So again, they tell you how many, so you find both prepositional phrases, draw a circle around each phrase, so we're circling them this time, mark each phrase ADJ or ADV, and draw an arrow to the word or phrase it modifies. Okay, so the first one, you didn't have to draw the arrow to what it modifies. This second section, you do have to draw the arrow. All right, the example there, the soldiers of fortune marched into the city. Okay, of fortune is circled, and that's a prepositional phrase. And what does it answer? What kind of soldiers, right? So it goes back to soldiers, and it's an adjective phrase. And then marched into the city. Into the city is your other phrase, and it's an adverb phrase because it goes back to marched. Marched where? Into the city, okay? So be sure to ask your questions. If you need to write them right here on the side, with adjective questions are what kind, which one, how many, how much, and whose. And then your adverb phrases, where, when, how often, to what extent. And it could answer why with these phrases. So why could be an answer as well. And then after you've done all of these, the go back says to diagram the even numbers in Think B. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So make sure that you go back and do that with the diagramming, and that you are let's see. You know what? I'm gonna do number 2 with you guys. So we're gonna do we're gonna find the phrases and draw the arrows. So I'll skip one, I'll let you do one by yourself, but we'll do two and then we'll diagram it together, okay? So I waited outside the classroom during the test. All right, so outside the classroom, there's your first phrase, right? What's your subject and verb? I waited, okay? So you could put, you can underline them because we're circling in this one, so if you want to underline, or you can just keep in your mind which ones they are, okay? So I waited where? Is there something that answers where? Outside the classroom. And then during the test is your second phrase, okay? Remember, every sentence has two phrases. And does it describe classroom? Does it answer what classroom or which one or no? So let's put it after, let's try waited, okay? So, or we could say I during the test, or waited during the test. Waited when? During the test, okay? So both of those are adverb phrases that go back to the verb. So here's how we're going to diagram, okay? We found our subject and verb, right? It's I waited. Okay, both phrases are adverbs going back to which word? Waited, right? Okay. Outside classroom. Don't forget your adjectives that describe your words or your nouns, objects and prepositions, and then during the text. All right. Okay. You can pause this, write this down. This is one of those that you're diagramming. I wanted you to see that just so that it makes sense. I understand that some of this can be a little tricky, but when we diagram, we want to make sure that we do the slanted line underneath the word that it modifies, that it describes. And since both of these went under weighted, we do it like this. And so then outside is our preposition. Classroom is the object of the preposition. The describes classroom, so it goes down here as an adjective. During is our preposition. Test is the object of the preposition. And the is another adjective that describes test. So that's how you do that. And notice I did capitalize I. We always capitalize I. But you always capitalize the first word in the sentence on your diagram. And make sure that you have all the parts there, okay? So these should not be too difficult, but if if your phrase goes underneath another phrase, it just goes off of the object of the preposition. So outside the classroom, in the hall. Okay, so if there was like in the hall in there, so we would put it underneath classroom and we would still make it the same look, right? The preposition, object of the preposition, and the adjective, okay? So that's one that's not on this one, but you will see that on at least one other. Yeah, there's one of them in all of this that is an adjective phrase that describes the object of the preposition. So that's how to diagram that. If you have trouble with that, be sure to look at the pages in the back. It's like 290, 291 and 292. And if you're still not comprehending it, you can contact me. I know Julie is also, Mrs. Chappell, I'm sorry, Mrs. Chappell is willing to help if you need that. So, all right, I'll let you get to it, and